Thank you so much. Where would you like me to sit?
Whatever you're comfortable.
So as you know, I'm coming here today over an investigation that's launched into me and continues to run.
So we're recording, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, recording because my attorney's out, my main attorney's out of the country. And so he just wanted to be privy to what I discussed.
So he knows that you're coming to see us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's been an investigation that's ongoing, and it's going to be ongoing for 11 months and 29 days from the day it started, from what I've been told. My concern with that is that the entire issue at hand has been a setup campaign against me since September the 6th. Okay. I understand your all's position and everything, or at least I think I do. Anybody would want to defend a pregnant woman who's accused a man of all the things she's accused me of, right? Are we in agreement? Are you familiar with the case whatsoever?
There's an ongoing investigation. I know there's an investigation going on.
Have you been? Are you privy to what the investigation is surrounding, or anything like that? Or
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, if someone has set up many things over the course of a 5-month period, okay, they have a plan and a story in place. Would that be a fair assumption to say?
Tell us, let's get to the point, so
Yeah.
we understand what it is you need from us.
Yeah. What I need from you all is freedom, my freedom back to see my children.
How are we taking your freedom away?
Well, I've had to sign a no trespass agreement
Correct.
for my mother-in-law's house so that I cannot go there to see my children.
Correct.
Now, I've read lots of case law at this point. You know, it's all I've done for 3 months. You have to understand that I'm no fool. I have worked my absolute behind off to get to where I'm at in this world, and I have a great job. I work very hard, and
Yes, sir.
I run a division of a
Yes,
company, 28th largest bank in the country. Top 20 largest wealth firms. I mean, I'm A, not the person that's in these documents, and B, not stupid.
Yes,
And
sir.
so
I'm not assuming.
What I'm
one
trying to
side
say
or
is
the
that
other.
I've read a lot of case law. The
Mhm.
Tennessee State Supreme Court, as well as at the federal level, has already ruled on the factor of keeping fathers away from their children with things like this.
Okay.
It's unconstitutional. And the reason that I say that is because the judges have said that. The entire Supreme Court has said that.
Has your lawyer done anything to address that with the judge that signed the paperwork that we're looking into?
No judge has signed any paperwork saying that I can't be with my children. That's what I suppose I'm not understanding. In fact, a judge signed the paperwork with the exact opposite, but your officers told
What
me.
judge?
Dana Ballinger in Davidson County, and all she does is divorce issues in order for protection. So she would be a de facto expert, right?
I'm trying to understand. Davidson County doesn't
That's
have
Nashville.
jurisdiction. Yeah, I
Of
know
course they
that.
don't have jurisdiction. That's not the point. But what I'm saying
It is the point.
okay.
We're in Anderson County.
Okay. Well, they had jurisdiction over my children until someone took them from me.
I understand.
Okay. So that's where we lived. That's why my wife filed the first order of protection in Davidson County, which gave them jurisdiction over the situation.
Okay.
They had jurisdiction before, which is where my divorce case is going to go back to.
Okay. Have you talked to your attorney about filing any other paperwork about getting visitation rights or being able to see your children? Have you done that?
No, but I have talked to him about what's already been decided again by the Tennessee State Supreme Court, and that is both parents have 50-50 custody before, if a judge has not said otherwise, that's the law. And it is in Tennessee Code annotated, and it is a fact. And so I guess where I'm either off base or misunderstanding is how the police is going to harass me out of my 50-50 share of custody that's already in the law. That's where I'm trying to understand your position, I really am. And I'm also trying to express mine. You all don't know what goes on at that house. Apparently you all have not investigated the claims that I've made, which are my wife's sister,
Who'd you make the claims to?
Rain Pettis.
Okay. Did you filed?
I filed nothing. I spoke with her.
You spoke with her and
Yeah.
you made claims that things were going on at the house, and she's investigating that.
She's investigating nothing. She's investigating only things my wife says. And then
As
if
far as you know.
as far as I know,
I don't know the
Yes, sir.
case. I'm just asking you. I mean, you sound like there are a lot of assumptions. I don't know.
there's no
the case.
assumption. It's a fact. If she's
It's
looked
not,
at,
it's not fact, it's assumptions.
oh, okay, so you know then.
I'm well aware of the case, sir. I told you that
Okay.
before.
Has she looked into Dewey Anderson, the
I
third?
cannot discuss an active investigation with you, which was
I
what was
would
told to you
suggest
when we
that.
When we
Right.
first sat down, you were told we cannot discuss an active investigation. Those are elements of an active investigation which I cannot discuss with you.
That's fair. That's
Thank
fair. The investigation was launched into me based on false documents and false police reports. That's my other concern. I brought those to Rain Pettis, and then when she didn't want to acknowledge the false police reports, I then called, is it Kevin Craig? Is he her boss?
Sergeant Craig, yes.
Yes. Okay. And so I called him, and then I met with him. He also laughed me out of the room. It was in an interview room right down the road here, or right down the
He
hall.
laughed you out of the room?
Yeah. He told me that, well, I mean, in order for us to know that these phone records are really real, why I'd subpoena them. Like I didn't go to the T-Mobile store just down the street and print them out 5 minutes before. Things like that. What I don't understand is why no one wants to be an objective third party in this. I couldn't wrap my mind around it if I tried. When I analyze an investment, I'm looking at the sell side and the buy side equally, right? Who's telling the truth? What are the real prospects of this? I'm not looking at somebody told a bunch of lies and I'm going to believe them because they're a skilled liar, right? And then this man who, in every other way, from any other person that you interviewed, and I guarantee you Rain Pettis has not interviewed one member of my family, not one friend of mine, not a single soul. Do you know why? Because they haven't heard from her.
What information would she get from them, from talking to your friends and your family?
My reputation, who I am as a human being.
So I understand. Listen, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, these are
But
circumstantial.
a police investigation
Yeah.
is not about character, it's about facts. So whatever.
Praise the Lord. Yes. That's what I'm trying to ascertain from the situation is, so far, okay, all the facts are in my favor. 2 cases have been dismissed with prejudice. 2.
Okay.
The first claim in Nashville. The second claim in Anderson County, right? The second claim encompassed all of the things that Rain Pettis is investigating me for. Stalking and harassment, right?
Okay.
Okay, that was dismissed with prejudice. That in the civil world, that you're familiar. I'm not trying to do anything. It's just that all the other officers I've spoken with have kind of played smart with me and wanted to run me around and say, oh, I don't know what that means. And so I explain everything
Okay.
at length. And the reason for that is because I don't want to get into a back and forth about the facts, right? Because I think that that's a waste of time and it's a disingenuous way to have a conversation.
So can you give me an idea of what guidance your attorney is giving you on this? Because I'm just curious, because normally I get contacted by attorneys.
Sure.
I usually have their attorney contact our attorney and we work through that channel. Once you have an attorney working for you, that's normally how these things are done.
Yeah.
So can you give me an idea of what your attorney has advised
Well, my
you to do?
attorney is $600 an hour, okay? And so having her and him and all of them go at $600, $500, $400 an hour is going to bankrupt me eventually. And I don't really want to see that
I hear
for
what
my
you're saying.
children, okay? It's an absurd thing to do. And so, no, I'm not going to pay attorneys to have conversations with people that I could
But what have
otherwise have
they
a
advised
conversation.
you to do as far as?
Well, they've advised me to, of course, get the divorce case that's been filed in Anderson County dismissed so that I can file a proper one in the county that it needs to be in the venue that it should be in.
So you were not living in Anderson County? You were,
I haven't lived in Anderson County in a decade.
okay, so when this happened, when the divorce was, you said,
I was living in Nashville, Tennessee on 4th
where
Avenue.
was your wife living at that time?
In Nashville, Tennessee on 4th Avenue.
When she filed the divorce?
It doesn't matter when she filed the divorce. It matters
just
when the
asking
cause
you.
of action arose. That's
I-
the venue statute.
I'm not a divorce attorney. I'm not a divorce judge. I'm just asking you,
Yeah.
where was she living when she filed for the divorce? Was she living here or was she?
She was living at her mother's house.
Okay.
Yeah, because she had kept my children there and told me I needed a court order to see them, which is not true.
Okay.
So then I went, and she knew that was going to happen because I told her it was going to happen.
Okay.
So I went and got an attorney and did things a kosher way and went through the juvenile court system because I wanted these things not in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to bash my wife in public. And I wanted to have our child custody matter discussed in private. And so that's why I did that. I could have filed a divorce and said a bunch of nasty things and done all this in public, right? Because those are public records. I didn't want to get a divorce. I want to work things out with this person. This person has significant challenges in their life, okay? And has for many years. Was raised in a home where things were not great, okay? And I sympathize with that and have great compassion for her for 13 years. I've been with this woman for 13 years. I don't know if you all are aware of that. But when somebody's raised in an environment that gives them a traumatic experience, they have problems from that. And they channel that towards other people, and they channel it towards a lot of anger, no matter the conversation. And so I wanted her to get help. I had encouraged that, and she had said that she was going to. She had her family doctor give her some depression medicine, which every couple of weeks she didn't want to take because she doesn't want to believe that there's an issue. I can't control what she does or doesn't do, right? But what I can do is take care of my children. That is my focus. It's going to be my focus. And I'll tell you why. Because I started talking about the way that I would bring my children up, the opportunities I wanted to give them, dreaming about my children years before they were born. Planning every day, working every day. 10 long years it's taken me to get where I'm at. I was a 29-year-old junior in college when I had my first baby. It was an unfortunate situation because I wasn't quite prepared. I parlayed that into a job immediately out of college. In less than 15 months, I was an assistant vice president of a division. People who are raping people, beating people, withholding food from their children, abusing their children, don't succeed to that level. Do you know why? Because they have to focus on something, and they can't focus because your conscience takes over and cripples you. Okay? Looking at the facts of everything, and the facts of me, and the facts of the situation, and the evidence, as you all are talking about, right? It's an impossibility. It just is.
Let's talk about what is within our scope of what we can do, what you can talk to us about today. So, and you tell me if I'm rephrasing this incorrectly. If I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Absolutely.
You seem like you're unhappy with Investigator Pettis' investigation, what she's done.
It's been one-sided and has not been unbiased.
So here's our process. And when you have someone that has issues with an officer, a supervisor in the department, we need them to file a complaint. We need them to put it in writing, what the person has done, so that we can investigate it. Then I can assign it to someone to investigate to see the facts. They won't investigate the investigation that she was taking. They'll investigate what she's done. They'll investigate if she's done her job correctly. Yeah. So if you're interested in filing a formal complaint, that's part of our process. So if you're interested in doing that, I can have a supervisor sit down with you, take your complaint, and then I can assign that for investigation for someone to review what she's done.
Yeah, that would be nice, and I'm going to do that at some point. But my focus has been on for 3 months, day and night.
You understand? At some point, I can't do it. I mean, I'm taking what you're saying.
Yeah.
But without something in writing to base on what I do with a complaint, and it doesn't matter whether I agree or disagree, I need someone to investigate it. So I can have someone sit down with you today and take your complaint. I can have a patrol sergeant sit down with you and let you write out your complaint on what she has done. And that way you don't have to wait till a later time.
I would like to do it. It takes so much time to sit down and do that because there's been so much and there's so much detail. And I don't want to miss a detail because nobody's going to know to look into these matters if I don't detail everything. Like, when did she look at the flock cameras? Why is she trying to set me up with something when she knows that my sole intention is to take care of my children?
So, I mean, without all the details of, you can't tell us...
I can't tell you when she accessed flock cameras to find my vehicle all over God's creation. No,
that's not even what I'm talking about. You can't tell us what it is that she's done incorrectly. I don't mean details of days and times.
Yes.
Can you tell us what you're alleging that she has
What
done?
I'm alleging that she's done is kept the investigation open into me to make me appear like I'm a criminal or going to be a criminal. Now, the original plan, you see, she was subpoenaed by Lauren Belowski, and I know you all got to be familiar with Lauren Belowski. She was subpoenaed by Lauren Belowski, Rain Pettis was, to come down on Friday, March 21st to a juvenile court case hearing, which is the one where I sued my wife. The judge had transferred and consolidated an order of protection case in with that, which is also unlawful. It's never happened in the state of Tennessee. With that said, her plan was to come down and detain me for questioning so that they could give a default judgment for my wife for these things, okay? Because again, I'm a good man. I have done no wrong. And there is nothing except false testimony, false police reports, and bogus affidavits for organ protection
Now, when you
to say
When
otherwise.
you say false police reports, you mean someone's reported it to the police falsely, or that we've done something falsely?
I'm saying all the above, personal opinion. But I don't
Well,
have
now
it.
we're talking opinions.
Well, personal opinion, yeah, because I don't know when everybody's access databases. I don't know what
But when you're-
how deep the setup campaign is
But you're
because I'm not a
claiming there's
police
false
officer.
police reports, and you're saying all the above means it's a false police report written by the police officer, but now you're saying it's opinion. Is it
Oh,
fact?
no. The false police report situation, what I'm saying, I'm not saying that the false police reports were written falsely by the police officers.
That's
no.
what I'm asking.
I'm
because
saying that
now
the
we're back
parts
to-
of the investigation,
We're back to administrative review, if that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
right? And
no.
that's all the more reason why I need you to put in writing what it is that you believe the officer's done incorrectly, because I can't investigate it without that.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Here's one of the most blatant. Well, first of all, I'd like to point this out. So remember, this person's claiming that I have abused him, right, for 13 years. Now, I don't know who marries somebody after 5 years if they've been abused for 5 years. It just me. Just seems weird, right? And then stays married to him for 8 years. That's shocking. But with that said, her first police report and her first claims were that I was only abusing her. And if you look at the last sentence, this is very important. The last sentence here, paragraph 4, says, Collier stated that she does not believe he would hurt the children in any way. Reason for that is because I love my children more than life itself.
Okay?
It's been the most traumatic experience of my life to be without my.
How old are your
I've
children?
Daniel's about to turn 4, June 21st, June 22nd, pardon me, and Noah's going to turn 2, August 14th, 2 days away from my birthday.
Very young.
Yeah, and when they hadn't seen their father in 3 months, relationships get destroyed. It's irreparable damage that's happening to my children, and it's out of spite, anger, and control from the other party. I want you guys to understand that.
If you're wanting us to do something, look into it, I need a complaint form from you. I need you to put in writing what it is that you believe Officer Pettis has done incorrectly, or whether you believe it's done intentionally. I need to know that. I need that in writing.
Well, when you tell me it's intentional, I believe you, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're saying it. I'm
No,
taking.
that's what she told me.
Who told you?
Pettis. Rain
What
Pettis.
did she tell you?
That she was going to keep the investigation open for the entire 11 months and 29 days intentionally. Now, again, the first plot was
When
to
did she
detain
tell you
me.
that?
Well, she told me that when I spoke with her the first time.
Go back. She told you that the first time she talked to you.
Yes. Yes.
So we actually need a statement from you. We need you to file. We need to do an interview with you. We need a complaint form from you before we can go forward.
Yeah. And I've had to do that and submit that on all kinds of things with the Board of Professional Responsibility, judicial conduct. That's taken days and hours. And again, I do have a job.
But can you do it while you're here right now? Can you file that? Can you give us a statement on what she has done? So the longer you wait, the longer we have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. I just don't want to miss details.
I understand.
Because my other ones are, 12 pages long with details.
That's fair. If and I'm not trying to rush you.
No, yeah, I just want to be as thorough as possible because then you all come back and say that it was an omission on my part. And I understand the game is to CYA. Everybody wants to cover their ass. I understand that.
We just have a process.
I
We check the boxes in the process. We have a process we follow. If we have someone that's complaining on one of our officers, one of our investigators, one of our supervisors, whoever it is, we treat them all the same way. If someone says someone has done something incorrectly, I need a complaint. If it's going to be a formal complaint, or if it's going to be administrative, where they're like, well, just look into it if you want to, or I recommend you. No, if I can get something in writing, then it happened. It's you put in your words what you say happened. Yeah. I'm not taking either side. I'm not saying it did happen or it didn't happen. I don't know until it's been investigated.
Yeah,
there's no way for me to know until it's investigated. If you're saying an officer's done something wrong, then I can't look into it until I have something in writing. So
I guess I haven't trusted that anybody will, because the way that I've been treated by other folks on the phone has been that I'm a criminal, I'm the problem, and everything I say is BS.
I'm not a judge.
I agree with that. I've tried to tell that to every
I'm
other
not a
officer that
judge.
works
It's
here.
not Lieutenant Hines and I have this conversation quite often. Is that as police officers, we're law enforcers. We're not lawmakers.
Or law interpreters, yes.
It's not. That's not our job. But
I wish that wasn't your job, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but when I first came with the judge's paperwork, that I could pick up my children. You know, I wish that they would have read it properly and interpreted it properly, but they didn't want to. And the reason they didn't want to is because they knew that my wife had called and made this bogus police report that my mom was calling her and all these things, and that she had filed the second order of protection after she lost the first. That's one of the funniest parts. She files the first order of protection. She loses. She comes in with a page of three pages of notes, okay, that she's going to read as her eyewitness testimony. The judge says, "No, ma'am, sorry, you can't read from a pre-written document because that's not an eyewitness testimony."
who is this? Who did this?
This is my wife
Your wife.
in the first false order of protection case.
Oh,
The judge makes her remove her notes. My wife can't recall one line of what she said. Not one. Not a date.
what?
Not
what
an
is-
activity.
and
Not
so
a single one.
You and your wife have been married. Did you say 13 years?
We've been together 13 years. We've been married for 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have been an amazing partner. Let me say this. I've been a good partner. I've been an amazing father. And I've been one of the hardest, most dedicated working people. Raised in poverty, high school dropout. I didn't have time to be running around an alcoholic rapist, okay? Nobody has time to be doing that and doing what I'm doing. They just don't. If you know anything about the field of finance, it's a lot of work to get to where I'm at. A lot of work. A lot of 10-hour days. A lot of 12-hour days. I worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day in the hot sun while I was in college on a drill rig so that I could make money, so that my wife didn't have to work after our first child was born, so I could get through school. The things that have been said about me are so bogus, and it's because her mother has done this to 3 other men, okay?
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look into it. Look into it.
I,
Her mom's a straight pro. Her mom's a pro.
I'm not going to look into it.
Yeah.
I need to know if you're going to file a complaint against Officer Pettis so we can.
Eventually, yes.
Okay.
Am I going to sit down and do that today before 3 o'clock?
Does he need a form that he can we give him a form to take with him?
Yeah, I know it's been provided already, but we'll be happy to give it.
If we can
to him.
provide a form to him that he can just, then if you want to mail it to us, then we can. I just need something in writing.
Okay.
Now, and as far as I'm not really sure to tell you about the other things you brought up, some interesting points you made. I'd have to ask the Attorney General for his guidance on some of those things. Like I said, these are not we don't make judgment on these things. We just follow what's in writing. We follow the law.
Okay. Why didn't we follow the law?
You're asking me like we're in court now.
Well, no, all I'm asking is why didn't we follow?
You're asking me
My
something
ability
part
to
of
pick up-
investigation.
No, I'm not. I haven't even asked the question yet.
Okay.
All I was asking was before the investigation was launched, when the judge said, go pick up your children, and she put it on a piece of paper and signed it and stamped it with an official seal, why did your officers tell me that it wasn't good enough?
How can I know that until I investigate the officer that you said has handled this wrong? How can I?
I don't
know?
even remember who he was because I just came down here one night after speaking to a different
Oh, I thought you were
officer.
talking about Officer Pettis.
No. I came down here on like the 6th of March after the court case had been decided. I called and spoke with an officer. He said, absolutely, we'll go down with you to the house and
Okay.
facilitate that.
Now,
Okay?
is this March?
Of course it is.
Well, don't say of course it is like I'm stupid.
Well, no,
I'm
but
asking you that because
would it have been last March? I mean, that
I don't know because this is the first time I've talked to you. I don't
March
know.
6th, 2025.
Okay, I
I'll
just
be
was
very thorough.
curious.
This is what I was afraid of. This is what I mentioned earlier where we run me around with things that should be obvious, but it's
Listen,
a
can I
disingenuous
say
pressure
something?
point to get me
You're
to...
talking down to me.
No, I'm not.
Yet stop.
Okay.
I want to help you, and I can't help you if you want to talk to me like that. You're talking down to me. I just misunderstood what you said. I was just clarifying. Was all I was doing. I'm trying to understand how much time has passed. I'm trying to help you.
3 months.
That's all I want to know. March.
3 months.
since March is not 3 months.
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't seen my children in 3 months.
I
That's how
understand.
much time has passed.
That's why I was trying to get my head wrapped around it, because I'm trying to do the math on the time.
March
You said
15th
Thank
is
you.
the last time I saw my children.
I'm sorry.
I don't really believe that you are, but I'm sorry. I know your son, and I know you'd be sorry if you didn't see him. If you didn't
Yeah.
see Trevor for 3 months, you would be distraught. If he was this age, if he was almost 4, if your other one was
How
almost
do you
2,
know my son's name?
and because we go back.
Why would you say you don't believe me so you're saying I'm a liar? That I'm
No,
lying
sir.
to you?
I'm just saying that
You're saying I'm being disingenuous. I'm
Yes.
sorry you haven't seen your children. Why was that? Why do you find that hard to believe?
because your entire department is waging a war
So
on
you're
me
going to
for
judge
nothing.
me you're going to judge the whole
By the
department
content of what you run,
how
yes,
many
sir.
How many officers have you talked to here?
At least 5.
So 5 officers, and you're judging 90 people on what 5 officers have told you, and I'm just like those 5. You're judging the whole department on what 5 people said to you.
No, I just know you run the department, and I'm getting a very similar demeanor and
No,
conversation from you
I'm
that I have the
giving
rest
you-
of the 5.
I'm giving you what I'm getting from you. When you first came in, you started calming down. Things got a lot better.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. I actually thought about commenting on it. I was like, things are going a lot better. But I don't think you're always self-aware of how you're projecting because you're emotional, because this is important to you. I get it. That's why I said, I'm sorry you haven't seen your children. And I don't appreciate you trying to throw my son's name out there in a way to try to make something out of it.
No, I'm just saying if you didn't see him, the point is if you didn't see him,
How
you
do
would
you
be
know Trevor?
distraught.
I asked you that question. How do you know Trevor?
We have many mutual friends.
But
And go way back, and I've seen him, with beer drinking buddies and things of that nature. Just people that I know well, and we have mutual friends and cross paths many times. That's it.
Good. Now everything's coming back down again. We're starting to calm down again. I want you now. Let's start back with when it started going up. I'm sorry you haven't seen your children. And for you to make a judgment of how I feel and whether I intend it, whether I'm being genuine or not, I think it's I think that's wrong for you to do
I think
that.
it's fair. I think it's fair.
So I am sorry you haven't seen your children. However, I can't do anything about the investigation because I have to conduct an investigation into the investigator. That's our process. That's how we do things.
It walls off your ability to know what's going on in the investigation. Because what you're saying is that I can't investigate the investigation, but I can investigate the investigator.
Correct.
Well, if you don't know what's going on in the investigation, you're not going to know that it's nonsense, and then it's not going to get
How
stopped.
can I do that without a complaint?
You can't, but I thought the way I was interpreting what you were just saying is that you weren't going to look into the investigation itself, but you were going to look into the investigator.
That's where it starts, and you look into whether she's doing her job correctly or not.
Understood. So there will be elements of this that you'll look into of what's
Is it
happening.
correct? Is she doing what is correct? Is she following the right procedures? Is she following the law? Is she doing that? That's what I need to know. But if you're going into that, she told you she was going to intentionally keep you from seeing your children.
That's what she told me.
That's something I need. That's a statement I need in writing. That's the kind of thing I would need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. And part of the reason that, I believe that most folks that I'm going to speak to in Anderson County are disingenuous. Again, I did grow up close to people that were in the absolute highest levels of Anderson County government. And I remember the phone calls. I sat at their dinner
Did you
table.
grow up in Anderson County? You from-
Yes, I did. Grew up in Clinton.
Okay.
I would hope that people would know that if they were investigating me. But I know you're not in the investigation, but I would hope
I'm
maybe
not
Lieutenant Hunt.
investigating you.
Yeah, I grew up in Clinton. Grew up in Norris first. Then I moved to Clinton. And yeah.
I'm very familiar with Norris.
I love Norris. Picturesque place.
That's where my dad grew up.
I'd still be living there if there were any jobs anywhere within a 45-minute drive of that place. But there aren't. Yeah, grew up there, moved to Clinton. My grandmother lived in Clinton my entire life. My grandfather was the postmaster out there.
Is that right?
Yeah, Triputino was my neighbor. He used to be around the house quite a lot.
Oh,
He's an attorney who did a lot of real estate stuff
okay.
in Clinton around the time that, what was her name? Well, like the only lady mayor of Anderson County at that point. First one and the only one, and her family goes way back. They actually started the area.
So there was
But
a
anyway.
female Did you say the county?
Yeah, I think her name was Brown. Her last name was Brown.
Because now we were talking about the county mayor. Because now,
Yeah,
because now
years
it's Terry
ago.
Franks now. So I didn't know there was a female.
Before that,
Before
yeah,
that.
yeah, it was. What was her first name? I don't remember her first name. Kathy Brown. Kathy Brown, many years ago. Anyway,
But you had my curiosity about things I want to learn more about. I don't want to interfere with the case.
Yeah.
That's not my job. I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that. But I want to make sure that we've done everything correctly. That's a conversation I'll have with Lieutenant Hines. Is to just make sure that we want to make sure we're following our processes and doing things correctly. If you feel like the investigator's done something unethical, she's done something wrong, that's different from the investigation. If she's done something intentionally to keep you from your children, but it's not legal, I need to
Yeah.
know that too. I don't know whether that's factual or not. I don't know because I haven't investigated it.
it's fair. Yeah, from what my attorneys tell me, it's called official oppression. It's when somebody uses their badge to intimidate and harass somebody out of their constitutional right to be with and parent their children. And that's what's going on. And they've tried everything else. It hadn't worked because the facts are what they are. The videos don't lie. The audio recordings don't lie. I'm not the aggressor.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have recordings of your interactions with your wife?
Of course I do. Of course I do, because I've been threatened with this nonsense for years. You have to understand, this has been a campaign that's gone on for so long. I've offered this woman a divorce. I've offered this woman the moon and the stars. She doesn't want to take it. What she wants to do is set me up,
What does
take
she
my
want?
kids. She'd like a bunch of money from me and to take my children full time for a paycheck and then dump them off on her mom, who has already said for years that she doesn't want to watch any more children. She's tired of that. She's old. She's had a stroke and a heart attack. She doesn't feel up to it. But that's what this person would like.
So-
And mainly that person would like to crush my soul by keeping me from my children. This is a campaign of revenge.
If you talk in your conversation with your attorney, and I know attorneys are expensive, but did you have the conversation about in the divorce settlement? Whether you want to try to get sole custody of the children? Are you suing for custody of the children? Are you going to joint custody of the children? What are you working on? I mean, is that something your attorney's helping you with?
Yes.
Any idea how soon that's going to come about? Will there be a custody hearing?
Well, they've kept it off for a long time with shenanigans. And so, kind of like filing false orders of protection, false police reports,
But should
and
there
then a divorce in the wrong county because Lauren Belosky thinks she's got an in with the judge.
Okay, so I can't control that. I can't control where the divorce
No,
is
I know.
filed or anything. But
Right.
so your attorney, even though I assume your attorney maybe he's in Nashville or is in Davidson County or
2 in Nashville, 1 here.
okay, so let's assume maybe it's the one that's here. I don't know. It's not my business. Have you talked to that person about go ahead and get on a docket somewhere, a custody hearing, trying to.
Well, it
so
can't
the
get on
judge
can't get on the docket in Davidson County until it's dismissed in Anderson County.
Okay, so can you do it in Anderson County? Can you get custody?
There's no way. I don't listen. I know what goes on in Anderson County, and I know people that don't like me, and I know that I don't like other people.
But have you filed? Here's the thing.
I'm filing nothing in Anderson County. Why would I do it? I'm not going to get anything.
Because you're documenting that you tried. If you're saying.
Oh yeah, I filed. Oh, of course, I filed. Of course, that's funny. Yeah, I filed the truth for an ex parte order of custody with the Anderson County Juvenile Court, but the corruption campaign took over. You see, and I have proof of all this. I'm not talking out my butt. Okay, when I talk about Brian Hunt, when I talk about Dale Cantrell, when I talk about his cousin Daniel Forrester, when I talk about his ex-wife, I know these things, folks. And so does the FBI, just so you know, just to cover my bases.
I understand. So, but you're not planning on trying to do custody
Not in
hearing
Anderson
here
County.
Anderson County?
No, I'm doing custody in Davidson County where they're fair.
I understand.
Where the corruption campaign isn't after me because I said something you don't like.
But you're saying I can't tell you what to do.
That was my custody I filed in Anderson County, and it happened exactly like I thought it would.
When was it? When did it happen? What was the dates on
Oh, let's think. I filed that on February 16th.
Okay.
The same day that my wife went out and took out the first order of protection and called you guys because she knew it was coming.
Okay. All right. I'm just curious because normally what we deal with when we're looking at somebody getting visitation, or we do a lot of exchanges of people coming to our parking lot to exchange children because it's a safe place for people to come to.
Yeah.
And what we're accustomed to dealing with is, well, how do I get to see my children? You need to go see a judge and have a custody hearing. You need a judge to say, here's what you can do. Here's your visitation rights. Here, and sometimes they'll set it up where you do that before the divorce is filed. They'll say,
Yeah.
this is what you can do in the meantime.
That's all going to happen in Davidson County when this divorce case gets dismissed. What I'm trying to convey to you is that I've given every effort to
I hear what you're saying.
do what I'm doing.
But I can't control.
I know.
And that takes it. And I'm not trying to speed things up. I'm just saying the expedient thing. And I hear what you're saying also, that you're feeling like it's a waste of time. But that would be my first step, would be, if the children are living here, is to file something here, to have a hearing where, I don't know which judge it is that hears those things, would say, here's that this person has the right to have visitation with his children.
I don't need that, so says the Supreme Court, but I don't want to keep arguing that dead horse. I really don't.
I hear you.
It is the law. I would have brought a copy of it, but that would have just been a waste of time because you would have read it and said, no, it's not. My point is this. I have 50-50 custody of my children. I have just as much right to be with and parent my children as my wife does. My wife did something called absconding, and it's when you take the children more than 50 miles away from the marital home. It's a violation of a divorce filing, and she knew that.
So,
Because remember, we've had divorce conversations for a long time.
so when was the divorce first filed? Where was that in
Anderson County. And it was only filed after all of this nonsense got dismissed with prejudice. And it's because it's another tool.
When did she file for divorce?
The next day court was open after I won this last one.
I mean,
March 24th.
okay, March.
Yeah, March 24th. And then I have to go around and, get a bunch of attorneys together to do a bunch of mumbo jumbo to file for a dismissal. And then they put the docket takes weeks and things like that. So I've been in the waiting game.
So they dismissed it? Is that what you're saying? They dismissed
No, they
it?
haven't dismissed the divorce that's pending here, no.
But that's what you're waiting on.
That's what I'm
But
waiting
are
on.
you feel like that's pretty close?
March 19th is the hearing.
Is that pretty close to that happening? You think that's going to happen soon?
I think it's going to happen March 19th. That's when the hearing for the dismissal is. I'm sorry, May 19th.
I started saying.
May 19th is when the dismissal.
I started saying that March
yeah.
19th is going. That's
a year away.
I
Yeah.
started saying that. Don't tell me that. So
May 19th. Yeah, 2 weeks from now.
okay, so you got to wait but after 2 weeks, then you're going to file in Davidson County.
Oh yeah.
So when you file in Davidson County, will you also be filing for?
When I file in Davidson County, the police are going to be ordered to come get my children.
That's what I'm asking. When you file in Davidson County, will there be part of that will be custody? Of
Emergency
children?
custody. Yeah. And then all of the character problems will come out, which hadn't been able to come out yet.
Okay.
Because the corruption campaign, again, of the judicial system of Anderson County doesn't want to hear my wife's dirty laundry. They just don't.
Is she from here also?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Her mom and her sister know everybody. So I was telling you to look into Dewey Anderson, the third. He's one of the most notorious drug dealers, meth manufacturers, etc. He's the father of the two other girls that live there at that house. And my wife's sister ran around with him for 20 years, I believe. He's a little older than her and started sleeping with her when she was 13. And they ran around together, until he was jailed in August 2021. Got picked up in Clinton. Manufacture of meth, sale, distribution, fentanyl, MDMA, marijuana, all the things. Stolen car. Maya's other half brother killed by police in Anderson County Police Department. Sheriff's Department, that is. And people wonder why I might be concerned about my kids' whereabouts or the company they're in. I can't imagine. I took this person from a household that has done nothing but psychologically and physically abuse children for 33 years and gave her a life that was really, really nice. Really, really nice. And this person is jealous of my success and angry that I have not wanted to be married to them for a long time.
So
I'm sorry to the public that I don't want to be married to this person. Now, The only reason I stayed with her, the only reason I've offered to even work things out, even to this day, sent her an email and said, listen, we haven't been well emotionally for a long time. There's many reasons for that. I'm willing to work things out with you. I don't want to fight in divorce. I don't want to be emotional enemies parenting our kids. If you want a divorce, let's get one, but let's be fair about it, okay?
So in 2 weeks, they're going to dismiss the divorce here?
We'll
and then-
see. Because
Okay.
again, the
So
people...
you have to wait to find out.
Right.
So as soon as that divorce, if it's dismissed, if it is, assuming that it is, then you're going to file for new divorce in Davidson County.
10
And with
minutes
that,
later,
it's going to be a part of that will be
emergency
custody of the
full
children.
custody of my children.
And this is something your attorney, I'm sure, is helping you with. It's helping you do the okay.
Oh yeah, we're ready to roll, but I can't pull the trigger on it
So that's
until this is dismissed.
at some point. Are you going to get me a statement with a complaint so that we can look at our processes to make sure that we're doing everything correctly?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. And you know, it's a funny scenario. Life is funny. This police report, the chief among all false ones, says that my mother called her and like drove by her house or some kind of bullshit. Sorry for my language. I came down with this set of phone records, which shows my mom's phone number as well as Maya's phone number because we're all on the same phone plan. Because remember, I did pay most of the bills. Let's see here.
Can I look at this?
Yeah, sure. That's what was used to parlay into the second false affidavit for an order of protection where I magically became a child abuser. After she said in her first police report I'd never hurt the children because she knows there's hours of videos of me playing with my kids, loving my kids. Check this out. She said I withheld food for my kids. I spent 20 grand last year on food for my kids, importing it from all over the world because Matthew Carter sat at home for 7 years and went to school and used those school databases for research on the best foods and what water they come from and which waters are protected in the state of Tennessee and where can I get that water and how great can I raise my kids. There's our $300 dinner on Thanksgiving. There's all the receipts from Whole Foods, the Fresh Market, every fine grocery store you can imagine. $127. $204. All the time. But in the second false affidavit for an order of protection, which the district attorney's office and nobody else wants to investigate is false because they know it is, she says I'm a child abuser who withheld food from his kids. $6 a bag vegan marshmallows, Chilean sea bass, swordfish, the best bison you can get from Crested Butte, Colorado, organic chicken, all the best things, man. It's comical. And then the Oak Ridge Police Department wants to harass me. And my uncle used to work for you guys. So it's cool.
Who's your uncle?
I don't want to tell you.
You're the one that brought
No,
it up.
my uncle did used to work for you, but no, I'm not going to give you his name because I don't want to drag my family into anything nonsensical.
Sir, you're the one that brought it up.
I
did.
know. I just don't want to answer that question if that's okay.
I'm good with that. You're not being interrogated. I was just making conversation. I thought it might be somebody I knew.
No, it was years ago. The point is that when a judge finally gets to hear all the evidence beyond what was done in the OP cases, because those are different than divorce cases, child custody cases, right? I'm proving that somebody's a liar in an OP case, okay? I'm not proving that I'm the right person to have my children. That comes later, and the evidence for that comes later,
Okay.
which is the only reason that it hasn't been brought out yet. Beyond the fact that Brian Hunt didn't want to hear my case, because, poor pregnant women and all that. Poor pregnant women who steal their husband's medications and smoke pot during their pregnancy, lose 30 pounds and go into liver failure, but who am I? So, that's the person we're dealing with, and that's the family we're dealing with. Pros.
So Judge Hunt refused to hear the case, or
He refused to hear the case, forced everything into dismissal except for that second order of protection that he shouldn't have been presiding over either way. As a matter of law, that is, but again, I don't want to debate that.
so
That was dismissed with prejudice
going
because
back to the divorce, because it sounds like the only thing that's outstanding right now is the divorce.
Yep.
As far as, okay.
Yeah. I think she got scared when the FBI started looking into everything. You know, she said, I probably shouldn't make any false police reports because although Oak Ridge Police Department ain't going to do nothing about it, the FBI is probably going to care.
Listen, the left-handed remarks are getting really old.
I know. I've asked 5
No,
officers to look
yours.
into this. I know. But
Yours.
I've asked 5 officers in the DA's office
you
to
keep-
look into these false police
when you
reports
keep
and they've
making-
laughed me out of the room.
When you keep making remarks about I think we're done here, okay?
That's-
you
that's-
keep making remarks about the department being corrupt and and the thing is, I sit down with you to try to listen, to
know.
learn. I'm being open-minded,
And I don't
I'm
want to
ju-
disrespect anybody. I really don't.
but
It's hard for me to hold that back.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't think you even do it intentionally. I think it's
don't.
it's so pent up in you. The emotions are there. You've had a 2.5 hour drive to get here, and it's all in your mind. I don't think you're aware sometimes it comes out. But when you do that, I'm just being honest with you. It's offensive, and I don't think you realize it's offensive when you say things like that. And if you're doing it intentionally, you're not helping your case. You're
Yeah.
not helping your cause when you do that.
I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm doing
Okay.
it because I've been without my children for 3 months
I
on a
understand.
bunch of bogus nonsense, and they're probably eating McDonald's and being pawned off on my mother-in-law who cusses kids like a dog all day. And every time I've ever even let them stay there for 2 hours and picked them up, they've had full wet diapers or poop in their pants, and it's nonsense. It's nonsense, and this whole situation is nonsense. This whole situation is nonsense. I've done nothing but do the best I can and be the best father on this planet. And it's been a focus because I grew up without a father. And I know how life is when people do this. I've seen it happen. And people want to play games with me and mess me around because they don't like me. I don't care who likes my personality. I do not care. Personality is not a crime.
Let's take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. Let's take a deep breath.
It's going to be okay if
Let's just calm down.
people stop.
If we're going to have a conversation, let's calm down.
Yeah.
Okay? We can be conversational, we can be respectful, but it's not. We're not in a debate here. We're not in court. I'm learning. I'm listening to what you have to say. That's the reason why I was open at the very beginning, saying, "Listen, if you want to give me a complaint, then we'll take the next step in our process of what we need to do." And here's the thing: you got to make sure that you don't have your mind. You think that we already have our mind made up, but you already have your mind made up too,
I've been told.
because you're seeing it from a very narrow perspective because of what you're going through. So you've got to be patient with us and let us work our process. But we need one thing before we can start. We need a statement from you. That's our next step for us to do anything. I know you've got your plate full, waiting to find out what Anderson County Court's going to do with the divorce settlement or divorce case that's been filed. You've got an attorney, it sounds like sitting idle and waiting for you to find out what's going to happen so they can make their filings in Davidson County. It's a lot to juggle. I get it. Plus, you're working a full-time job. I
Yeah,
get it.
managing
I get it.
$1/3 billion for some of the most affluent people in the state who want my attention and want my expertise in the field. And it's hard to focus when somebody's running you around ragged, playing a bunch of games with your kids. With the people that I told my wife when this all started many years ago that I would never keep the kids from her.
Right.
And that I believe that a child needs both parents. I've been extremely kind to her and extremely fair. I've offered her all manner of things. Last March, when I said that I would not do it anymore and I was going to move out, and she was welcome to either stay or find somewhere else to live, she begged me not to do that and said that we could work it out and all these other things. I knew that that was not true, because when people don't fundamentally get along well, it's difficult to do that. But I gave it my best effort. And even to this day, I believe there's more effort to give. However, what's been done to me so far, it's extremely hard to wrap my mind around. And everything that I have done with the police and the court system in Anderson County, in Davidson County wasn't the case, but since I came back to Anderson County, I've been treated with the most malice I've ever been treated with in my life. And I just am asking people to be objective and use some discernment in the situation. People can say whatever they want, right? People say things all the time. Is it always the truth?
You're spot on.
Yeah.
People can say anything they want to.
Yeah,
That's the reason why it takes time to investigate the facts.
it does. It does. And if you only investigate a bunch of dopeheads who are going to say whatever they are told to say, so that these people who ran dope for 30 years, let's
Now,
remember.
where do they live? I know you
113 Goucher Circle, where I was actually pulled over for DUI. I'm sure you all are aware that I
No,
was
I
pulled
wasn't
over
aware of
for
that.
that. Yeah.
When did that happen?
October 19th.
Were
Some
you
mystery,
charged with DUI?
some mystery person called in my license plate. They were close enough to see that and see me swerving all over the road and roads that I wasn't ever on. But they weren't close enough to see if the big old Highlander emblem on the back of my car was a Highlander. But they were able to read pretty well phonetically 706 Bravo Mike Tango Lima. They were smart.
So were you drunk? Who the officer charged you?
The officer charged me. Of course she did.
Were you convicted of DUI?
Well, no, that's still in court because you
Oh.
guys don't want to release the video that's going to show that the officer never followed me, never had me walking down a crack in the pavement, which I asked if we could do some tape. Cracking the
when does
pavement's
that go
fine.
to court?
It's been back and forth so many times because we're still waiting on that video, and nobody wants to hand it over. All we've got so far from you all is the 911 call of this person who is, I don't know who they are, but prior military, current law enforcement, I don't know. Gave a fake name and a fake phone number, so I don't know who they are. But you all could find that out, I'm sure. Looking at the actual call that came
So
in.
you don't know when you go to court on it?
I go to court on this again June something, in June. I was held, this is how drunk I may have been, okay? I was brought into holding at 5:30 a.m. I left at 8:14 a.m. I was also the most kind and cordial DUI person you've ever pulled over. I remember every word for word, that was said and spoken to me, and that I responded. I was a very nice person. I'm not a psychopath. I'm not a highly irritable, irate person who just goes off the handle. Somebody started messing with my kids, okay? People are going to get upset when they've parented their children well and they've taken every measure to raise them well, and then somebody who doesn't have a great background and doesn't have the same reputation takes their children and starts playing games with them, they're going to be upset.
All right. So this was, you say November? Had she already-
October 19th is
October?
when I was pulled
So
over.
had she moved back here with her your children to with her mother then? Was she
No, we were visiting her mother.
okay?
We were visiting her
I
mother.
was curious.
Yeah. We've never lived in Anderson County, and we've lived in Knoxville,
Mhm.
and we've lived in Nashville since we were married. That's it. South Carolina, we stayed with my dad for a little while because, again, I didn't know my dad until I was 25. So we went out there and I got to know him a little bit. And we got married in North Carolina. So we hung out there for a couple months and then came back out here and got a place in Knoxville. So we lived in Knoxville for 7 years, and then I got a promotion, and then we moved to Nashville. We'd lived in Nashville before, so we were coming back. That's the story of events. Maya and I have never lived in Anderson County as a married couple, not for 5 minutes or 1 minute.
So, Mr. Carter, let's go over our takeaways. You're going to get me a statement, and I think you have the complaint form to use to do that. If not, we'll get you another one so that we can assign that to a supervisor to review to make sure that we're doing our job correctly. I appreciate you taking the time to point those things out to me. I just need to get it in writing.
Yeah. The bankruptcy campaign continues. If I can't find out what my kids are doing and where they're living because you guys want to come arrest me for something that was predicated on a bunch of false statements.
When you say you guys,
The police, you see, if I go and try to find out where my kids are at, you guys are going to say I'm stalking somebody that I don't even want to be married to.
I understand.
It's hysterical.
I hear what you're saying.
And when I was after my arrest, and this is the whole intimidation, right? After I'm arrested, because I'm a publicly facing individual who manages money for some families that are in the highest levels of the executive branch of government and law enforcement in the state and all these other folks, okay? Do you think they're going to want me managing their money anymore when I'm a criminal who's stalking my ex-wife and my kids?
I hear what you're saying.
I don't think so. That'll put the brakes on somebody real quick.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah. Take away the livelihood for my kids. A bonus cap of $400,000 a year. You think I'm going to sacrifice my kids' whole future, their college, everything I've worked for,
I can see that.
when somebody's threatening my job that I've worked like a slave to get to at 33 years old in the largest growth division of my company? I don't think so, you know. So I got to go out and spend $25,000 on this madness. Hilarious. Any other man that's my age in this position wouldn't have the resources. He couldn't just call up friends and ask them for help. You know what I'm saying? It's something that the department and that law enforcement should never do to a father who's come down to you with this much evidence. Look at the situation objectively and tell me that I'm in the wrong. Tell me I've done something. And somebody show me one shred of evidence. Somebody show me one time my wife ran down the street and told somebody I was beating her up. I just want to see it, but it doesn't exist because it never happened. And I don't understand how an investigation can continue into something that's been dismissed with prejudice, that is false, patently false, just to intimidate me out of finding out what's going on with my kids.
Well, the investigation obviously is ongoing.
Right. So any contact I try to make, right? Anytime I try to reach out to my wife or her family to see my kids, it's going to be called harassment. But it's not by statute, because it has a legitimate means.
And I'm not trying to create more cost for you. I'm not trying to cost you more money. But if your attorney has any questions or something we can talk to your attorney about, and I know you said $600 an hour. I don't want to ask you to do that. I would not want to put you in that position. But I'm just saying, if there's an attorney that wanted to ask us questions, or we have an attorney also that can help us filter those things. So,
May I ask who that is?
well, we have a city attorney. We have actually a staff of city attorneys. I just had to find, if I knew who your attorney was, and I'd find out who they would assign to the interaction. I'd have to go ask for that. But I would be interested in hearing what your attorney had to say. I am interested in hearing what happens in 2 weeks also. You're saying that about the divorce filing could be dismissed in 2 weeks, and I'd be interested to see what happens after that as far as you filing for divorce in Davidson County. Be interesting to see how that goes.
I agree. I mean, I know how it's going to go as of right now if it's dismissed here.
Okay.
As a matter of law, it should be, but as a matter of...
But I go back to what I said earlier, is
Yeah.
there's so many things that we don't control.
Right.
There's things that we don't control, and that's why I'm interested in hearing what the courts do decide, because that gives us clear direction on what we're supposed to do.
Right. I'm assuming that when you all get an order to return my children to Nashville, that's going to happen. I don't know.
Depends on what's in writing, depends on what the
Right.
papers say.
Right. Because the first time that was said that I should be arranged to be able to pick them up and take them home, it was interpreted that
I hear
that's
what you're
not
saying.
what was on the piece of paper, even though the piece of paper is right here and that's what it said.
I like where we are right now. I like how this is how a conversation's supposed to go.
It's a fair conversation where
We
you're...
just got to get our
Yeah.
emotions back down, where we're both controlling our emotions. We're both doing good. I appreciate you working with me on doing that.
Yeah, I'm a reasonable person. The unreasonable party is not me, as I've said to so many folks
I hear
so
what you're
many
saying.
times.
Well, I'm
paid
sorry you
to
had
have
to
reasonable
drive so many
conversations.
miles just to have this one conversation, and I know I've already said it too many times. I guess I need to say it one more time. Please send me that statement.
My concern with wasting time on the statement so far is that, I figured it was going to go from my hand to the waste bin.
But is that fair for you to say that? You
It's
don't know me.
No, I know. I don't know you, and that this is the first time we've spoken. That's why I'm saying up till now, That's the way I
Yeah.
felt, because the way that other people have conducted themselves have
We-
given me that
We have
signal.
a process, and I just need that. That's the next step in the process. Have a statement. I would talk to Lieutenant Hines about where we would assign that, and we would have someone start reviewing the facts of the investigation to see if the investigator, the officer, has done her job correctly. And look at what your accusations are, what the allegations, accusations are, to see if there's the credibility there.
Yeah, that's fair. And you do have the ability to look at all of the times that flock cameras have been accessed, and the names and the
I-
search
I-
criteria.
I assume we do. I'm not the one.
I mean, I know
that
there's a
does that,
database
so-
of it.
I
Yeah.
have people that know how to do all that. I'm not the one that does those things. I have people
Yeah.
that know how to do those things. So
Yeah,
I don't want to answer like I'm an expert in, because I'm not.
that's fair. Yeah, I just that's a key point of what my complaint's going to be, because I believe that the setup for the prior or the second order of protection was quarterbacked by Rain and
Using license plate reader to track you or to find you. Or,
well, not even that. I think she just used a brown Highlander and then blue RAV4, because she already knew my whereabouts, right?
Okay.
She knew that I wasn't in Oak Ridge when the second affidavit for order of protection said I was.
okay.
Lauren Belowski knew, my attorney knew, Maya knew. Everybody knew when they filed that second affidavit that I was in Nashville
Okay.
and needed to know when I could come pick up my kids. That email was sent at 10 a.m. She then called the police saying that my mother had called her at 9:30 p.m. Fast forward, and remember, this is all the next day after losing the first order of protection and the judge saying I could come pick up my kids. The next day, she starts the crafting of the order of protection. That Monday, that second order of protection is filed, and it's an ex parte, it's temporary, right? That's filed, which wraps my kids up again for another 2 weeks, which ended up being 3 weeks, which ended up getting rolled into my other case, and on and on and on. And then on the 18th, when we had the first order of protection hearing, is when this investigation was opened up into me.
Okay.
And it was opened up into me solely to have me detained.
How's the DUI case fit in to all this?
Well, the DUI case, in my opinion, was the beginning of not the beginning, sorry, but it was the first step in the campaign.
Who's the? I don't know who the officer was. Who's the officer that made the arrest on that?
Young lady, blonde, McAtamney or Tammy
Okay.
or
Yeah.
something.
I think it's
Yeah.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, not that she was involved in anything. I'm not
But
saying
she was
that
the
she
arresting
was.
officer.
Yeah,
Okay.
very nice, very kind person.
Okay.
I do wish she would have done some things differently in a field sobriety test, but that was my own.
Just make sure you bring it up at your trial. It sounds like you're having a hard time getting it to court, though, getting the case.
Yeah, I'm just having a hard time getting the dash cam video from you guys.
I have no idea where we're
Yeah.
on that or what the. I know there was
Yeah.
also things that can and cannot be released until. There's some things that can and some things that cannot be released. And I
Right.
don't have control of that. That's Attorney General's call, those kind of things.
Yes,
So,
and you guys make a lot of money from the grants, from DUI grants and things like that, and I understand that, bro. It's like what, $15,000 grant for everyone you get convicted on, or I don't remember the dollar
get
amount.
anything off of DUIs.
Somebody in the government, like the Anderson County government, to some degree, in most counties, there are grants behind these things.
We don't get
You don't
money
get
out like a
anything?
DUI arrest.
Oh wow, okay,
No, we don't have any grants that have to do anything to DUIs.
that's
We
okay.
have what they call Tennessee Highway Safety Office grants, and that's for traffic enforcement, which could be speeding, distracted driving, things like that.
Okay.
All that does is pay overtime for the officers to go out and do traffic enforcement. It has nothing to do with getting paid for making an arrest, though.
Or convictions or anything like that.
No.
That's the
No,
way.
That doesn't sit well with me, thinking somebody would make money for making an arrest. That's going like in the old days where constables were making arrests and getting paid for so much money for each arrest.
Yeah. That's
That's not the way it's done here.
okay.
I can't speak for other jurisdictions. That's not the way it's done here.
Yeah, that's good news. I can't imagine why the dash cam video has taken 8 or 9 months to be released. And I do know that the DA's office has changed their policy in recent times, and they want to kind of kick that can down the road as long as they can. And I do believe it's, again, a little unfair very unfair, because police officers can say whatever they want, such as your officer who said that I was all over the road, even though she wasn't behind me. You know what I'm saying? You can say
I
anything.
hear what you're saying. I haven't seen the video either. I don't know.
Yeah. And if you did, and if you listen to the mic of her and things, you'd hear me talking about my kids.
Okay.
You'd hear me being the nicest person on the planet.
Well, that's good. That's exactly the right way you want to do it. That's how you want to be seen on the video.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
That's exactly
I mean,
what you'd want.
yeah. And if I was if I was all the things that the beautiful thing about the video and any audio that's connected to it, and it's almost funny that I say this, but the nice thing about getting pulled over and stopped in that interaction is it's going to show people in this case that I'm not anything that this person has alleged.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
the main
so I
reason
hear
I
what-
even
I hear
want
what
the
you're
video.
saying. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, it's the main reason I want the video. It's like if I had a problem with the police or law enforcement, it certainly would have happened when I was just ridiculously, you know what I'm saying?
That's a very good approach. You want to build
Yeah.
that reputation.
But instead, I was very calm. I told the officers, "You guys have a job to do. I'm not upset about it. I understand.
Good for you.
This is how it goes. I'm here. You're here. I've done what I'm doing, and you're doing what you're paid to do. There's no problem from me. You're not going to get any lip
Hopefully
from
that'll
me."
be resolved in court at some time.
Yeah.
Some point in the future.
Yeah. And
You don't know who the judge is going to be
yeah, Matt Tuck.
on this one, on the DUI.
DUI. Yeah. I haven't really spent a whole lot of time looking into him because I've been too buried deep in looking into the real estate transactions of some of the other folks that have been presiding over my case. It's a nice thing about having a banker as a suspect in your world, right? Like they know how to do all that research and they find things that are super interesting. Like Lauren Belosky was one of the 5 people to recommend Daniel Forrester go for the judge chair, right? Because you got to have 5 upstanding citizens to recommend you. And then in that same month that she recommended him, her business partner went and bought a $650,000 piece of property from his family at an above market rate, which seems odd to me. And I'm no expert in real estate, but I'm an expert in investments. Due diligence was my job before I took this job, and so I do have a lot of experience doing that. And it looks to me that maybe that was a way to fund his campaign. It seems odd to me. And it seems odd that he's presiding over an order of protection situation. No evidence wants to be heard. We want to give Lauren Belosky's office a win. It's hard to pay for that mortgage if you don't win cases, right? And if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type thing. I'm not saying that's what's going on, but I'm saying the optics of it are interesting. The optics of the way that things have been done, the fact that Lauren Belosky has said that I have harassed even her is hilarious.
What did she say you've done to harass her?
She said I called her office 20 times. And again, phone records that I gave Ms. Pettis and everybody else show that I called her office 8 times.
Okay.
I'd actually like you to just see this while I'm talking about it because it'll make more sense to you. Me saying it sounds...
I believe you.
Yeah.
And you got the papers there to back it up, but I believe what you're saying.
So they said I called her office 20 times. I called her office 8 times.
Okay.
Reason is the first time I talked to her receptionist for about 45 seconds. She put me on hold for 3 minutes. Lauren Belosky came up there, picked up the phone, started cussing out her assistant, slammed the phone down. So I was like, oh, well, wonder what's going on over there. So I call back 5 seconds, call back 5 seconds. That's just dialing out, nothing's happening. They then answer the phone.
So they're just not answering the phone?
Yes. They then put me on mute here where I'm saying hello, hello, hello. Then I call back for 6 seconds. They answer again with dead silence again and again.
So now,
And
did you tell me that Ms. Belosky is your wife's attorney?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I have done a ton of consults with attorneys in East Tennessee. And I kid you not, I've not talked to one single attorney about this dismissal case who has not told me they're going to charge me $1,000 more than they regularly would because Lauren Belosky is the attorney.
What does that have to do with it?
Because she's the most unethical.
But why would it cost more?
Oh, because they're saying it's going to take more time. Because the nonsense that she's going to run them around through. Their claims, not mine. But they say the same thing. Easily the most notorious individual in East Tennessee. Yeah. I don't know if you ever do consults with attorneys. I can't imagine you would need to.
No, I don't have any experience with that.
But it's actually really funny when you get on the phone with a bunch of attorneys and every single one of them say, "Oh God, I don't even want to do it. But if I'm going to do it, it's going to be $3,000 and not 2, just to get something out of court." You know what I'm saying? Just to get something, and that's part of the bankrupt campaign. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to go and file false orders of protection, which are free to me, which I know that nobody in the state is going to charge me for filing a false affidavit, even if the statements in there are so provably false, it don't matter. Nobody's going to charge me with it because I'm a pregnant woman. It's a good strategy.
Now, who's pregnant? You said somebody's
My
pregnant.
wife's pregnant.
But she's pregnant now?
Yeah, with my 3rd son due in June.
How about that?
I don't know. I guess his name's probably going to be Sam, her boyfriend's name, but I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
Mr. Carter, I'm sorry you had to drive so far to get here.
I was going to be here anyway.
Appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and just give me your side of the story. I look forward to getting your statement.
Yeah. You as well. I really do appreciate this. You've been very kind and reasonable, and I appreciate that. I simply don't want to ruin my kid's future
I hear what you're saying.
over nonsense. It would be a real shame when we do get to court and then, I win, but my kid's entire future and their ability to live well
I hear
is
you.
crushed. It would be one of the deepest injustices that have ever occurred.
So, like I said, it's not to make excuses. There are things that we don't control.
I know.
And, so we wait to get direction from the courts to see what the judges decide.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we move forward.
Yeah. But if I go try to see my kids, I'm going to be arrested by you all. Even though right now I have 50-50 custody of my kids.
You said because there's a trespass order. Is that what I understood?
Right. Which my wife's not even living there anymore.
Where is she now?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Okay.
If I was to tell you that, or if I was to try to find that information,
I
I'd be arrested for stalking.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
Fair. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, because they backed me into a little corner, and they think they're going to intimidate me and harass me away from my kids long enough to where it's justified that somebody gives her custody.
So that takes me back to the statement again.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Because for me to do my job, I need that. I just need your words. I need you to say this is what I believe to be true, so
Yeah.
that I can have somebody look into it.
That's fair. I guess that's why I called the FBI with all that in the first place, because I just legitimately do not trust, it's hard for me to
And
trust somebody
maybe they-
internally that's going to look into something that somebody else is doing after all of their bosses have said, bro, ha ha ha. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. And
It's
if-
hard for me to trust that anybody's going to do anything here.
And if the FBI has a case or something they're looking into, I'd be interested in talking to them too and seeing what they come up with.
Yeah, I was asking that my interviews that I've done here with Rain Pettis and Craig would be released to me by email, or at the very least sent to knoxville.fbi.gov. Like one of the two, just so somebody else outside this police department who seems very interested in arresting me on false claims has that information. Because at some point, somebody has to administer justice in a fair way.
If you're talking to an FBI agent, tell them to please contact us.
I've talked to everybody. The Department of Homeland Security. I've called the Department of Justice. I've called the FBI. I've called everybody but the sitting governor, and that's just because I don't want to embarrass myself.
Well, maybe they are investigating and we just don't know it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, it could be the FBI's looking into it and we just don't know about it.
I don't know it either.
So, and maybe that's the way it should. Maybe it's better for us that we don't know. That they're just doing their job.
Anything's possible. But they got a lot from my statement with them to go back and forth, the
Okay.
DA's office and all that.
And it may be that I don't need a statement from you then. If they're looking into
No,
it.
I'm definitely going to give you a statement because I want all hands on
You
deck.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Is if they're already looking into it,
that'd be great.
I'd be interested in seeing what they got. Well, I like to see the outcome.
Yeah, me too. I just, and again, a lot of the reason I've done this is because I want everybody in the state, at the federal, anybody to know the facts before people throw me in jail, okay? To where I can't get anything done for myself and paint me as a criminal that I've not, have never, will never, am not, have been.
I hear you.
And I'm fascinated that things can go on this long with false statements that predicated the opening of the investigation.
So,
Like stalking when they knew I was in Nashville downtown on the ninth
we'll
floor of
look
my
to see
office.
what happens here the next 2 weeks, because that could change everything. What happens in the next 2 weeks could change everything.
Well, my fear is that after a judge says something, right? After it's dismissed here, that one's immediately filed. The judge says, go get his kids. I get custody. The next thing I know is you all are going to try to get me and try to arrest me to give my kids back to my wife. It's all a strategy, you see, and that's the whole thing. I don't want to ruin my kids' lives.
No, I get it.
I'm their income source. You know what I'm
I
saying?
understand.
I've worked so hard to be where I'm at, and to take that from a man who
But listen to the advice your attorney gives you, because I mean, if you're paying that much for an attorney, they must know something for people to be.
they're ready to roll. They
You see
know
what I'm saying?
100%.
For them to be able to charge that kind of a price,
Oh yeah,
you can't charge that kind of price if you don't know what you're doing.
yeah.
So hopefully
They've
they're
looked
giving-
at the facts.
So
Yeah,
hopefully they're giving you good guidance.
yeah.
And just the thing is, I know here's the hard part is to be patient. It's hard to be patient when you haven't seen your kids in 3 months. I hear what you're saying. So
And you've been slandered.
you look at 2 more weeks,
Yeah.
potentially,
Yeah,
and then you're going to look at taking the next step after that.
yep. Yeah. Lost friends over this, lost business opportunities, thousands of dollars in revenue. I was killing it when I first got out there.
Mm-hmm.
Killing it. Yeah, I hadn't gone into one deal I missed, you know.
Just a distraction.
Yeah, you can't, when you don't work for 3 months and your business partners don't want to put you on things because they're scared about reputational damage to the firm,
Oh,
you don't have a lifeline. You haven't made any revenue. I haven't been in one prospect meeting in 3 months since all this was done, because when people go and put this nonsense in the public, my boss says, my man, I can't do this. You're going to have to
he's thinking about
sit on the
business.
bench. Yeah. It's like, take care of the clients you got, but we don't need to be prospecting, okay, right now. We need to wait this out and see what happens. And then when they keep doing it over and over and over, it crushes your ability to earn an income.
Let's see what happens the next 2 weeks. You're gonna get me a statement.
Yeah.
And then we'll start doing our part. And in the meantime, the investigation is ongoing.
And I can't imagine into what.
I don't know, because I'm not the one doing the investigation, so I'm not intimately familiar with it. I didn't know anything about it until you came in today, because I don't know every investigation, there's no way I can know what every officer in the department's doing.
Yeah.
So that this has been a learning opportunity for me, just to hear what you had to say, hear your side of it.
Yeah. And by all means, if there is anything other than a bunch of false statements, please hunt that down.
Give me your statement, and we'll go from there. Okay.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
All right. I'm going to show you back out. Came well prepared.
It's been
That's what you do, right?
3 months in the making.
That's what you do, though.
I try to prepare as best I can for every meeting I have, especially when it has to do with the welfare of my kids.
Yes, sir. Boys, you go back to Nashville, be careful on the roadway on the way back, because it's about to be that time of day when traffic's getting heavier.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you again very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.